Hey guys, it's Andres LaFrasia, and who are you?
Angel from monkeygang.
And we are going to be talking about KSI versus Jake Paul and our predictions. So this will probably be on my YouTube channel, and it might be on his. So like, sub, and comment to me. And what's your YouTube channel name?
Monkeygang. We just post cool music once in a while, you know?
Yeah. So subscribe to us both. So how's it going? So why did you wanna kind of debate me on this?
I actually thought you had a really good take, but the video's 5 months old, and I was wondering if your perspective probably changed or there's any new info. Like, do you think your opinion changed from, like, because you made the video 5 months ago, right? Or, like, 5 or 6?
Yeah, it was like May, June, something like that.
Do you think the Nate Robinson fight kind of changed, or do you have the same opinion?
If I'm being honest, I think when Jake knocked out Nate, that was really impressive. I think everyone can agree on that. But technically, I think he was a lot better in the Gibb fight than he was in the Nate fight. I saw him throw some punches that almost seemed a little like KSI versus Logan Paul 2 type punches, where it was like kind of just wild, unorthodox, kind of like swinging. And I noticed that when I watched KSI's spars on like YouTube, him and Jake have a very similar way of punching. And so I feel like the Nate fight gave me more confidence that KSI can hold his own against Jake. Like, I think that Jake can beat KSI, and I know that KSI can beat Jake. I'm not like, I want KSI to win, but I know that there's a reality where Jake wins. So the Nate fight made me more confident, but I think that the what like, I don't know if you know boxing terminology, but do you know what punch Jake did that like sent Nate to sleep?
The right overhand, right?
Yeah, that's something that KSI needs to make sure that he's on top of, because that if that lands cleanly, KSI he's going night night.
Oh yeah, for sure, and vice versa to Jake as well. Like, I think they've both proven they have knockout punches, like knockout power.
Oh yeah, definitely, yeah.
But I think what impressed me about of course, I'm not gonna overhype Nate. He was obviously awful,
terrible.
But there was no sparring footage, no boxing history. Like, we knew nothing of how Nate Robinson was gonna fight. And if you look at Jake's face, I feel like he was shocked as well from the running. So I think he adapted pretty quickly, which was pretty cool to see. Like I highly doubt anybody saw this man running towards Jake. Like, I don't feel like nobody saw that coming. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think I heard that Nate never even like did any spars leading up to it. That's what someone said in like a YouTube comment, and then KSI made a video and he said, "Oh, Nate never like sparred." So I think that Nate I think was he wasn't very smart when he took on Jake.
I honestly think that's a myth, because if I checked out Paco Rios, that dude's trainer. He was hyping up his sparring. So now that the fight's over, I really hope they release footage of Nate Robinson sparring, if he ever did. His entire camp was saying he sparred, but I guess some people don't believe it because it definitely didn't look like it.
Yeah, I think I think they said that he sparred like once, and then he didn't like getting hit, so he decided to just do like mitts and stuff. So, which is like why would you not like spar? Like the whole point of boxing is you get hit.
And it got me thinking, like, okay, so Jake obviously manhandled Nate Robinson, and I was just thinking, how would KSI do against Nate? Obviously, KSI would win, but would it be that fast and that devastating as Jake did? And I don't know, that was just a thing going in my mind.
I think KSI would have probably KO'd him, because he actually did like KO'd a sparring partner the same way Jake KO'd Nate, and like it was Deji like did a reaction video like years ago before the Joella fight, when KSI was first starting to boxing. KSI did the exact same uppercut and like knocked him clean out. So I think it would have gone similarly, but I feel like KSI tends to take his time more, and he doesn't finish like very quickly. But I think the result would have been the same.
Yeah, the result. Yeah.
I feel like, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, no, continue. I'm just still thinking about that.
Oh yeah, so I think that okay. So why do you think Jake is gonna win?
Well, I mean, clearly, I have no favorite. I mean, obviously, I prefer KSI over Jake Paul's content, but we're just keeping this straight boxing, right?
Yeah.
I think nobody can say with a straight face. I'm not talking about who's winning, but nobody can say with a straight face that KSI has better form than Jake Paul. I don't even think KSI fans can convince themselves KSI has better form than Jake Paul. In sparring, probably, but like from what we've seen so far, Jake Paul obviously he looks more composed. I mean, of course, it's a weaker opponents, but he looks more composed, more calm. He times his punches. KSI is how you said in what's it called? Boxing insanity or something like that.
Yeah, boxing and like he just boxing insanity against Logan.
I feel like I get pray swing and I hope it lands vibes from KSI, and I see timing from Jake Paul. You know what I mean?
Because I will say that I disagree with some of your opinions, but we'll kind of break it down. I think that the thing that Jake has that he has that Logan doesn't, he reads the boxing, like he's thinking while also fighting, and I think that's like a huge advantage that he has over every like YouTube fighter. And I think that I think that Logan is faster than Jake. I know Jake is pretty fast, but I think that he tends to miss a lot. And if you go to the scorecards for the Nate versus Jake fight, Nate actually landed more punches than him, but obviously the accuracy was higher because Jake knocked him out 3 times, or 2 times. But I think that for KSI to win. Well, okay, so before we get to how I think KSI can win this fight, I think that KSI fought Logan the way he did because that Logan is such a specific situation where KSI couldn't box him traditionally, because if he did, he would probably lose. And it was a lot of it was less about, he's a bigger guy, because everyone says like, KSI just fought Logan because he was bigger and he needed to swing more. And that's a factor, but the big factor is that it affected Logan's mentality, because Logan is terrible under pressure. He doesn't know how to deal with it. He doesn't like when people are in his face. And because KSI knew that from the first fight, that's why he was like super wild and aggressive and just going like no technique. But he also said that like another reason why he was so wild was because he got very frustrated that Logan was kind of always running away from him whenever he would try to fight him. And, he said it's kind of hard to fight somebody that doesn't want to fight. So I think that the emotions and and Logan kind of not wanting to fight KSI is what made him get even more wild. But I think KSI has proven that he can fight unorthodox, but also fight very technically. So I think that he's shown that KSI has shown that he has the heart and the determination, and he can go up against bigger opponents, but he hasn't proven that he has technique. And people know that he does. He just hasn't proven it in a big fight. And and it's kind of the same thing with Jake, where Jake has proven he has technique, but he hasn't proven he can use that same technique against bigger fighters. So they both don't get the best of both worlds, I guess.
Yeah, I agree that Logan is terrible under pressure. I would even say he's an awful boxer, to be honest.
Really?
Well, not awful.
I think
he's just bad.
I think he's decent. He just why do you think he's bad?
Because he goes for the Roy Jones stance, and there's not a problem with the Roy. I mean, of course, there's cons to it. But I don't know why you would keep your heads down to a waist against a fighter like KSI. If you did it in the first fight, that's fine. You didn't know how he was going to come at you. But since you saw how wild he can be, and you still choose to keep the stance where your hands are to your waist, that's just something you should have learned. Maybe I should not do that next fight. But no, he continued to do that, and it didn't really pay off after he ate a haymaker.
Yeah, no, I think Logan, I think he's a good... Okay, well, before we... What do you think of Floyd Mayweather versus Logan Paul?
I feel like everybody can agree I'm not saying who would win, but I feel like everybody can agree that Logan has not even the closest amount of technical as Floyd does.
Oh, yeah.
But I low-key think it's weird because everyone says how Logan's gonna pressure Floyd with all his big weight and muscles, but we've never really seen Logan pressure. He always fights on the back foot. So if Logan does learn how to pressure similar to his brother, I guess he has a decent chance. Not even decent, just not completely impossible. But if he keeps on fighting in the back foot, and Floyd likes fighting on the back foot, I don't know. I think it's a weird fight, but obviously I think Floyd's going to win.
Yeah, I want Logan to win, only because imagine how, like, the boxing people would react and how, people's minds would explode. And I like Logan more than Jake. I think he's a decent YouTuber. He's definitely proven that he's, like, become a better person. But I just think that would be so awesome to see, like, a YouTuber being a 50-0 or whatever, however many fights Floyd has won fighter. Although honestly, like, I think Floyd's just gonna, like, tire him out, and we know that Logan can get super tired, and then he's just gonna, like, I don't think Logan would get KO'd, but I feel like, you know, it would have to be, like, I don't think he would get KO'd until, like, the 6th round. So I don't think that Floyd's going to knock him out like Jake did Nate in the first, like, 2 rounds. I think it's going to be a long fight. But yeah, I'm excited for that, though.
Actually, you just reminded me of something. Do you believe in the mentality of how if KSI beat Logan and if Jake's supposedly worse than Logan, does that mean KSI can beat Jake? Do you believe in that kind of mentality?
So you're saying that, like, since Jake is worse than Logan, KSI has a better shot at winning against Jake?
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. I think that Jake has some core things that I think Logan is better than him, but I think that Jake has the timing, the accuracy, and the killer instinct that makes him stand out from Logan. But I feel like with Logan is able to win more, like, on points. He's able to, like, land better shots, and I think that he doesn't have the power behind the punch, kind of. But I think that, like, you know, when he landed that uppercut, KSI was hurt from that. So I think that Jake is just a lot more, like, scrappier, and I think Jake throws a lot of, like, unnecessary punches, and I think that's kind of where Logan is better than Jake. But Jake, I think, just has that really good accuracy, and he can, like, study what the fighter is doing and adjust to it very quickly. And Jake works amazing under pressure. Like, Gib, Nate, both were, like, super pressure fighters, and Jake just, like, he knew exactly what to do. So I think Jake thrives in pressure, and Logan doesn't. KSI can pressure Jake, but he needs to be extremely careful, because we've seen with the Nate fight, with the Gib fight, they do kind of the exact same mistakes. They kind of go into him, but Jake is able to just, like, let them, like, do their thing, and then he's just able to land one punch and it's over. So I feel like with KSI, he shouldn't not go in with the mentality of, I want to KO Jake in the first round. I want to, you know, bash him, like, into the canvas. It's like, KSI should go in with the mentality of, I'm going to do whatever it takes to win this fight. And if that means this has to be the most boring fight ever, then that's okay. I think that KSI needs to... I think that Jake gets tired very easily. Like, after the Nate fight, when he was being interviewed, he was, like, super out of breath. And I think that he doesn't have as good stamina as Logan does. Even though Logan doesn't really have good stamina to begin with, I think Logan is able to kind of stick with it more. So I think KSI should do a lot of body shots. Just, you know, get Jake to... Jake should be the one that's, like, throwing all of the punches, but KSI is the one that's kind of moving around and landing the big shots, and just tire Jake out as much as possible in the first 3 rounds, because that's where Jake excels, and Logan does. It's the early rounds. KSI excels in the later rounds, so KSI should use those first 3 rounds, a lot of body shots, just tiring Jake out, making Jake do the work, but having him, KSI, be the one that's landing the big punches that make a difference, and then come alive in that 4th, 5th, and 6th round, and hopefully if you get the KO, you get the KO, but if it goes to the decision, I think that's where KSI can thrive. I feel like if it went to the decision with Jake, I think Jake misses a lot, and I think that the way Jake would win would be by a KO, by the punch that made Nate go down. And I think that with Jake, he just needs to study KSI's fights and understand that he shouldn't go in with the expectation of, oh, you're gonna fight me the same way you fought my brother, because I'm very, very, very certain that KSI is not going to fight Jake the way he fought Logan, because with Logan, he needed to be, like, scrappy and just all over the place. With Jake, he doesn't need to do that, so I think Jake needs to go in with the mentality of, I'm going to probably get the unexpected, so how am I going to deal with it?
I know I'm about to piss a lot of KSI fans off, but the only way I can see Jake winning is if it's in round 1 or round 2. Not because I'm saying KSI would get KO'd in round 1 or round 2. The reason I believe Jake gets tired fast is because he has that... so the difference between KSI and Jake is that KSI, he tries to, like, warm himself in the boxing feeling. Like, he feels his opponents out, then he's like, okay, I'm done warming up. Jake is different. He likes to waste his entire gas tank in round 1 or round 2, and that's what gives him the killer instinct. Like, hey, I want to finish you in round 1, round 2. I want to humiliate you. You're going to be a brand new meme. So the only way Jake can win the only way KSI can win is if he manages to survive round 1 and round 2. And there is no way, and I say this with confidence, there is no way Jake Paul is going to win with the scorecard, because he's known for timing his punches, you know? He's not known for hitting a bunch of fast combos. He times his punches. And it's really good to hurt somebody, but if they survive, that's not going to look good on a scorecard.
I think what people need to understand is that these YouTubers, if there wasn't big bags of money involved in this, they wouldn't be fighting. You know what I mean? Like, this is all about publicizing themselves, and Jake has a passion for the sport, but at the end of the day, they want to do this because of the money. You know what I mean? Because you can make a ton of money off of boxing. So, Jake... People can say, oh, Jake wants to do this because he cares about the fans and he doesn't care about the money. And I'm like, of course he cares about the money. The only reason why YouTubers do this is for the big money they're going to get. So it's just, I just find when people say that, I'm like, Jake cares about the money probably more than anybody, but.
That's what I was about to get to. And I respectfully disagree. Of course, they care about the money, but there's people who care about the money more than others. And I believe KSI cares about the money more than Jake. And that's only because when Jake said, of course I'm getting more, and people were like, you just said it wasn't all about the money. Focus on the word all. That's not all he cares about. I think Jake Paul, of course he's not doing it just for the boxing, but if you would say anybody did it because they love the sport, it would be Jake Paul. I think it's obvious or arguable that Jake Paul loves the sport more than anybody in the YouTube boxing scene now. For now.
Yeah, I think it's his, like KSI likes doing boxing, but I think his passion is like music. Just like Jake,
and that's respectable.
Like Jake does music, but his passion is boxing. But that doesn't mean that Jake doesn't love music and won't dedicate time to it. So I think that, like, I understand, why people are saying, Jake's more than willing to fight KSI, but I think that, KSI just doesn't want to fight because, he'd probably get, I think he said he'd get, like, less money than when he fought Logan, so I understand where KSI is coming from. I wish that he would just get over it and, come to some kind of agreement and then, like, let's go and fight but it is what it is. The fight's gonna happen. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not gonna happen. It's just a matter of time. It's gonna happen.
I think what makes KSI versus Jake Paul so fascinating over the Jake Paul versus Conor McGregor is because you would sound like a fanboy if you said this would be a one-sided fight to either of them, right? Like, you can argue Jake would win and you wouldn't look insane. You would argue KSI would win and you wouldn't look insane.
Yeah.
You put Jake against Conor, and if you argue Jake can win, everyone's gonna look at you like you're a crackhead. You know what I mean? So
yeah, definitely.
That's what makes the Jake fight so interesting, man. Like the hype that who could win, who can win. I'm not gonna watch Jake get. I mean, I'll probably still watch it. Who am I kidding? Yeah. But I'm not gonna pay for a one-sided slaughter against Jake on Conor McGregor. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
I watched the Nate fight on like Crackle streams. I didn't even pay for it.
Yeah, like
because it's like what's gonna happen. Do you think Jake would beat KSI? Like what round? How?
I see a round 2, only because I said how Jake doesn't have stamina, so he needs to let it go early. I see not KSI doing exact haymaker because he's not taller than him. He would fight more technical. But when KSI tries to fight technical, it's not as technical as Jake. So I see Jake Paul like hitting him with the big right hand and doing the little shoulder roll under the swing. That's one of his favorite moves if you look at his sparring. And I see Jake Paul. I see KSI falling for that because KSI does like doing big jabs with his left hand.
How do you think KSI would win?
I see KSI probably not knocking out because I do believe Jake Paul has the best head movement in the YouTube community. But I do see him getting a big stompage on him, probably second to last round, 5th or 6th, when Jake Paul's like barely standing.
Oh, yeah.
And obviously, split decision, if it comes to that, I see KSI taking that.
I think that if Jake were to win, I think he would stop him in the first couple of rounds. Though I could also see Jake hurting him early on and then finishing him off later. Because I think KSI will put up a fight. So I would say maybe like 3rd or 4th round for Jake, honestly. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happened, and it would definitely be a KO. Hopefully not in the same way that he knocked out Nate, but I think that could happen to KSI. And then if KSI were to win, I would definitely say it could happen I think it would happen in the last 2 rounds or something. But I could see him landing some big shots, and that could make Jake like panic, and then he could finish him off there. So yeah, I think it's gonna end in a KO. Whoever wins, it's gonna be a KO. I would be so surprised if it went to points, but if it goes to points, I'm pretty confident that KSI would win unanimously.
Yeah.
Like hurt Jake at some point, and that will be the big test for Jake if he can come back from that.
Oh yeah.
So I definitely do believe that they're both going to hit the canvas, and that's what I want to see. I want to see both of them go on the canvas, and one of them, and who's going to be the better one, because this fight is who is the best YouTube boxer. Whoever wins this is undisputably the best YouTube boxer, and you can't argue that. You know what I mean? Unless it's like a 2-point deduction controversy, which I don't think it would be, but I think that it's really gonna put both of them to the test in a big way.
All right, fine, okay. So, we've talked about how would they win.
Yep.
Who are we rooting for? We're not rooting for. Who do we think will win?
Yep.
And I think we're just gonna have to wait for fight night. I mean, it's underdog versus underdog.
Yeah. My thing is that I'm not going to predict who's going... I want KSI to win, but I know Jake can win. And I'm not going to predict... I can't confidently predict KSI, and I can't confidently predict Jake. This whole fight depends on KSI. If he fights the way he fought Logan, he's losing. And that's what Vidal said. That's what Vidal said. If Jake... but if he fights the way he fought Joel or just in the spars, he's going to have a much better chance. So honestly, we're just going to have to wait until the first bell hits to see who's going to win. But there's a great argument for Jake winning and KSI winning or losing. So I think it's going to just have to come down to fight night. So like and subscribe to Monkey Gang, and you can like and sub and comment to this channel. And you think you might want to come back to do this again sometime with me?
Oh yeah, definitely, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this could be a great every once in a while thing, because I think people do like 2 people talking about boxing and podcasts, and we can talk about other stuff besides KSI and Jake. So anyways, like, sub, and comment, and see you guys in a bit. Peace.